close on the B limit, I think. But this is the Eagle GX 51 tooth 2021 Trek Slash. 7 months of abuse, and the shifting's almost great. Like, it's almost perfect. But the thing is, with cables, this is funny now that I can talk about cables versus electronic shifting, which is pretty incredible. I tried the GX Axis the other day and it was killer. With a cable, I don't know whether maybe you get a little bit of grit up here when you wash your bike or ride in a dirty race, but after a dirty ride or after a heap of rides, your cable starts to get a little bit tighter under thumb. Now, if it's getting tighter under thumb, it's going to be getting tighter releasing as well. So it's not going to be, so when you're dropping down a gear, it's not always going to drop down as simply as friction free. So cables are annoying. But what I have found recently is I think this is a Clark's outer. I believe that's a Clark's outer. I've had a Jaguar outer and cable, and it created a fair bit of friction fairly quickly. This Clark's is better, definitely. But I put a Shimano one on a friend's bike, Shimano cable and outer, and it was so much better. So much better. Not too sure how the SRAM outer is. I'm assuming it's decent, but I haven't tried one for a while, so I'll have to try and get my hands on one of them. But yeah, so when your cable's killer and your derailleur hanger is absolutely straight and square, it shifts really, really well. But it still does a little bit of a, I'll see if I can find it, I'll see if I can make it happen. Every now and then, it'll sit on, like that's a rattly gear, and I think that's because it's, you can hear that. I think maybe that's because it's like the most used gear maybe. But sometimes it like tick, 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 tick. It'll sit in a gear and it'll tick along. I think it's like 10. There we go. No, I've got it pretty crisp. But I think I don't know whether it comes from being ever so slightly out of alignment, like because of the hanger being bent, which this is running a UDH. This has got the, yeah, universal derailleur hanger, SRAM. Very, very soft, I think. Very weak. So I've put a hanger tool on this. Let's have a look. I've chucked a hanger tool on this 5 or 6 times, probably more. And it's just very easily bent. I love that it's a universal derailleur hanger that I can roll into a shop and they're likely going to have one for me. It's a good shot. So that's killer. That's very, very handy, but very easily bent. So if you're having issues with your GX or NX has got a really weak return spring, I think. So it's often pauses on the way back down the cassette. So on the way into harder gears, it'll pause before it drops, so you don't know when to power on. So quite often that issue that I've just mentioned there is the spring in the NX and the SX. It seems a little bit weaker. I don't know if it is, but it seems a little bit weaker. But the clutches, I've been I've been super critical on GX clutches for a long time now. Yeah, you'd get them sometimes from the shop, sometimes straight out the box they're pretty good, and then they wear out after a few months and they get real slappy, and sometimes they come slappy and then they get worse and worse. This 7 months old, I don't know if I just got lucky, but this has been really, really good. So it doesn't slap, doesn't carry on, haven't dropped anything off the front. It's been really good. So GX, so far so good. 51 tooth, I love it. I'm running, so this 29er, full 29er, running 30 tooth at the front. I definitely wouldn't run a 32. I definitely would not run a 32. I don't know why everyone was ragging on the Trek Slash having a 30 tooth, but 30 tooth, 51. Anytime something gets steep, I don't have to stress about it. I know I've got a gear for it, so it's killer. Which I'm in the top gear quite often. You can see it's got a whole lot of wear. I'm always in that top gear climbing up. So most of our climbs in Adelaide, or most of the climbing I do anyway, I go straight up the fire road. Like I go straight back up the hill. I don't mosey around and do the long way because it's flatter. I just go straight up the hill, and I want the easiest gear I can get for that. So 30 tooth at the front, 51 at the back. I never spin it out in the top gear. Like there's no way I'm spinning that top gear out. It's a 10. I think it's a 10 tooth, and a 30 at the front. Like if you're spinning that out, yeah, I wish I had your speed. That's for sure. That's fast, but it's been really good. I think these cassettes, I don't know if these cassettes are that good. Maybe I'll get an XT cassette. I'll replace it with an XT cassette when I replace it. I do have another GX cassette here, but yeah, maybe I will replace it with an XT cassette. We'll see. I'm not overly sold on the back suspension on this bike yet, so yeah, we'll see. But yeah, the GX has been killer. And just a short mention of the GX Axis. I just had a boost around on some GX Axis last week before maybe. Yeah, week before. And it's so nice. It's so nice to just press. I'm kind of torn because I'm not really into the electronics on bikes. I don't like having anything electronic on a bike. I don't like the fact that if I forget to charge it, it's not happening. Yeah, I just like simple and reliable. But I also like the finer things in life, and it's pretty good, pretty killer. GX Axis was pretty crisp. Just crack a button and it's there every time. It's predictable. It reminds me of the old 10-speed Shimano XT. Like hit the gear, clunk, you're in. Hit the gear, clunk, you're in. Hit the gear, you know when it's going. You can pedal. You can bank on when it's going to be in. You can bank on when it's going to be in the gear. It never ever stutters. It never ever half clicks or half shifts or you go to pedal and it gets you too soon and you have a retarded moment on the pedals. Yeah, it felt good. It felt good. But it's the same cassette, so I don't know what's different. I'm assuming everything in here is the same. Don't know. Maybe it's just eliminating the cable, eliminating the variance of having anything in your cable thing to make that shift, just microscopically different on different shifts. So eliminating that might be the eliminating the major problem. So who knows? Who knows? But this one's been good. The clutch is still good. It runs clean. I've got a fresh derailleur hanger, so I'll put that on. But it shifts clean. Wow, you've seen it. Let's go up the gears. Yeah, that was a bit of a hesitation.